Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
God grant that not only the love of liberty, but a thorough knowledge of the rights of man may pervade all the nations of the earth, so that a philosopher may set his foot anywhere on its surface and say, "This is my country."
Oh, beautiful, far heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refined, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties, over the fruited plain. Well, now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, he did. Heavy brotherhood from sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had somebody to help me sing this. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he done shed his face on thee. You ought to love him for it, because he crowned that good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I thank you, Lord.
It's the 20th day of the first month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Earthquake Awareness Month activities continue here in Jamaica. It's Army Day in Laos, Lesotho, and Mali. Tiarake en Canas in Peru. Day of the Martyrs or Day of Sorrow in Azerbaijan. Death of Amilcar Cabral in Guinea-Bissau. Foundation Day in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and National Heroes Day in Cape Verde Islands and Guinea-Bissau. It's Inauguration Day in the USA. Hoy es miércoles el 20 de enero 2021 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
But now, wait a minute.
C'est mercredi le 20 janvier 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Because he crowned my good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood.
All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 20th of January, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Our heroes proved in.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We thank you if you have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat. In fact, we're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to not only hear but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. And if you don't have a Facebook account, no worries. There's always YouTube. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm channel on YouTube. How about that? More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
COVID-19 is still here. Always wear your mask correctly while in public places, covering your nose and mouth at all times. Masks should never be worn over the head, under your chin, below your nose, or hanging from your ears. Recovery from COVID-19 can take up to 60 days or more. The mask or the ventilator? You choose. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday here on Power 106 FM.
Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refined, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beauty God, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties, over the fruited plain. But now wait a minute.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world on this inauguration day. And I'm so sorry, there are quite a number of our followers and listeners and viewers on Facebook Live. Last year, this time, I was in Washington, D.C. Last year, this time, I was in Washington, D.C. And as usual, I take a lot of pictures. And so this morning, today being inauguration day, this morning, I thought I'd post a couple of pictures from the National Mall in Washington, D.C. So from Capitol Hill, the White House, and then the Washington Monument. So I posted those pictures and I said, it's inauguration day in the USA. And it was brought to my attention that there were a lot of people who thought that I was in Washington, D.C. for inauguration day. I'm sorry if you were led along that path, but as you know, I do take a lot of pictures. So I have a lot of what are called stock pictures. So depending on what's happening, when it is happening, unless I'm there in person, live, physically, then it would have been from our stock of photos. So what you saw, what you've been seeing on our Facebook page are pictures from that stock of photos. Yeah. So those are the stock photos that we posted. But it is a fact, obviously, that last year this time I was in Washington D.C. covering the David Wagahunt Scholarship Foundation initiative. And usually when we travel, we do a series of broadcasts. So that was exactly 1 year ago today. And had it not been for COVID-19, obviously, arrangements would definitely have been made for us to be in Washington. Well, we would have been there anyway, because we would have been covering the David Wagahunt Scholarship fundraiser, as we've been doing for the last few years. And so attending the inauguration would have been a part of it, would have been a part of the exercise. But no, we haven't traveled since then. So that's the remarkable thing. We haven't traveled since the third weekend or so of January 2020. And that's when we traveled to Washington, D.C. last year this time. So we have done no other travel. No, and we would not, unless there's an emergency which requires that we be there wherever that is. But even so, you would have seen the difference with the mask and all the other things. I could not be in DC at the National Mall in COVID-19 time and not be wearing a mask, because that wouldn't be wise. So we're not there yet, but we're definitely looking forward to a time once again when we can travel all across the diaspora and share your stories live on spot wherever you are. But we thank you for following. We thank you for your kind comments as well. And sorry if you thought we were actually in Washington, D.C. without realizing. And those pictures were made public before. Yeah, last year this time, we had posted those pictures when we were in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, I thought I'd deal with that up front. Thank you very much for your multiple messages. Let's clear a few of the current messages coming through here on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. Let's see. Good afternoon to Inez Campbell Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Clover Carber, hello to you too. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester says, feeling elated and proud following Biden-Harris inauguration. Beverly in Toronto, Canada, jokingly says, what a way you fly back quick. And Nicola in Mandeville thinks our theme song is an appropriate selection. Nicola is also having a good laugh. She jokingly says, Air Force One style. Inez Campbell Brown in Bridgeport, Connecticut says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers. I'm so blessed to be a part of this historic day. My grandkids were a part of history today. And she has 012021, today's date. Hello, Jennifer Stewart. Jennifer is both live on Facebook with us and also on YouTube. Sylviana Johnson, well, good afternoon to you too. Sylviana Johnson says, wow, good afternoon. You made it back in time. And then she catches up and says, oh, that explains it. Maureen A. Green. Hello, Maureen A. Green. It's been a while. I notice you've changed up again. It's one of the things we love about women. Women have this remarkable way of just transforming, a different hairstyle, a different this, a different that, and they have a lot of fun doing that too. Maureen from Free Spirit Outreach Incorporated, that NGO in Florida. We look forward to rejoining you and the members of Free Spirit Outreach once again in the near future in West Palm Beach, Florida. She says, looking forward to having you here again. We can't wait, Maureen A. Green. Good to see you, though, in that picture, that fresh look. Melvi in San Diego, California. Good afternoon to you, too. Thank you very much for tuning in. Blossoming Meadows and Aldwayne Brooks are watching. Maureen is having a good laugh. LOL. Speaking of LOL, get ready for LAL. I was privileged to have been a part of a launch earlier today, a media launch for Legacy Athletics Limited, LAL. It's an athlete development enterprise. All the athletes and potential athletes tuned in. Take a note. They're on the internet as well. LegacyAthleticsJM.com. LegacyAthleticsJM.com, and they have some of Jamaica's finest young athletes already in their program. Happy to have been a part of the launch earlier today. Get used to it. Legacy Athletics Limited, LAL. It all unfolded earlier today. Clover Carber says, hello, thoroughly enjoying the ceremony live from my living room in Manchester, England. And that's the inauguration ceremony to which Clover Carber is referring. Well, we left our DVR running at home, and we look forward to playing it back and watching it in our time. That's one of the things we love to do, and we do it with the news all the time, to be able to rewind and fast forward and all that jazz with these recordings. It's the age for that. The technology is around. Why not use it up? Use up the technology. Use up the technology. And yeah, people are still, I think maybe eventually I'll have to just take down these photos. But there are people who still think that we are indeed in Washington, D.C. for Inauguration Day. No, but I would have told everybody there would have been promos running, and I would have ended yesterday's program by saying, all things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow, all day tomorrow from Washington, D.C. I would have said that or posted something else, but so it is. It's I'm just 1 year late, or 1 year early, 1 year early for the inauguration. That's it, because that was last year this time. That's where I was. So it is. And to show how things have changed, the first time I went to Baltimore in Maryland, and of course it's all a part of the DMV. Sandria Faulkner was the director of communications, corporate communications, etc. at Air Jamaica, and they had a series called Islands in the Park, and I was there representing Power 106. Jerry McDaniel was representing RJR 94 FM, and it was a Sunday actually, and we broadcast from there. And back then, you could actually sit on the White House fence. that you could really get close up, apart from the scheduled tours, very strict tours that are organized. But you could go straight up. And then years later, when I went back to Washington, I realized that the entire area had become quite sterile and you couldn't get as close as you used to. And even last year when we were there, if you look at the picture I took just in front of the White House, you see a police vehicle there with a couple of policemen, and that's as close as we could get at that time. But we're not going to say too much on that because who knows what lies in store. Let's see what happens. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
How can you make your business thrive in the new normal? By using the most powerful IT solutions from Digicel Business Hub to optimize your business operations. High-speed Wi-Fi, mobile and office phones, IT security, Microsoft Office with Teams, and much more. Get Digicel Business Hub, world-class IT from just $399 USD a month for 5 users. Visit us today on www.digicelbusiness.com.
The older I get.
Did you check on mommy, daddy, or even grandpa or grandma today? A reminder from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and the National Council for Senior Citizens to care for our elderly persons, not only for today, but every day.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and One Spot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Enjoy a 30% discount on our 6-month subscription plan and receive the gift of Jamaica's most authentic television and radio channels. Yup, you heard us correctly. Enjoy a 30% discount when you purchase a 6-month subscription plan from One Spot Media. Simply log into onespotmedia.com, select the 6-month subscription plan, and click subscribe. Offer ends January 31, so don't hesitate. Subscribe now and let One Spot Media connect you with home.
You know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties. Over the fruity plain. But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America.
It's Inauguration Day in the USA, and because whenever America sneezes, we catch a cold, we have to keep an eye on developments in the United States, apart from the friendly relations we've enjoyed with the US. And of course, this is both sides of the story, which has evolved to, in some respects, refer to the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad because of our reach in the diaspora. And we thank you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad, for putting us in that position. Not we putting ourselves in that position. It's the people who put us in that position. So it is. We see Rose in London celebrating. She says, good afternoon, Dervan. Of course, it's evening in London now. It's just minutes to 8 o'clock in London now. She says, good afternoon, Dervan. Oh, happy day. Raymond says, good afternoon. And Jennifer is online as well. Let's get to the matter at hand now. The Registrar General's Department, we haven't had the pleasure of the company of any member of the team from the Registrar General's Department, the RGD, in a little while. And so we're grateful this afternoon to be joined by Acting Deputy CEO and Director of Operations at the Registrar General's Department, Mr. Michael Johnson. Good afternoon to you, Michael Johnson. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Dervan, and good afternoon to you and your listeners.
It's
and by extension, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. It's been a while. We've missed many New Years, so to speak.
Absolutely, but today is a special day, Dervan.
Indeed, it is. In many ways. And we're excited about the fact that you recognize that, yes, you can be right here in Jamaica processing all kinds of documents that you do at the RGD: birth, death, marriage, etc., genealogical research, etc. But you recognize that there's a captive market, so to speak, Jamaicans in the diaspora who themselves are desirous of accessing these services. And we have had the pleasure of traveling across the diaspora and seeing the RGD at work from the UK to the USA, Canada, etc. And I'm just anxious to get an update from you as to some of the ways in which you have been seeking to meet the needs of members of the diaspora, and then we can come to more specifics.
Absolutely. We've been doing great things here at the RGD, and we're always seeking to improve our services and to reach our customers in a real way. We have some good news, of course, in terms of how we have been transitioning and how we have been improving our services. And, through our CEO, Mr. Charlton McFarlane, who has mandated that we must become digitally bold, we have been pushing for more and more of our services and our products to be placed online. Mm-hmm. And that is the good news I want to bring to your listeners and all customers in the diaspora, that we have recently placed 3 more of our products online.
All right, hold on, slow it down there now. Let's get listeners across the globe, stand by, listen, get a little closer to whatever device you're listening on, turn up the volume a little. Here's Michael Johnson, Acting Deputy CEO and Director of Operations at the Registrar General's Department, RGD, saying, we're happy to have rolled out some services that you can benefit already, but hey, we're here to tell you about more. So let's first of all deal with what is there already, what is available, the services already up and running online for members of the Jamaican diaspora who are doing business with the Registrar General's Department, RGD.
All right, so absolutely. So you can access, as it is right now, you can access your birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates online. You can also apply for your genealogy research to be done online.
I wonder if Vice President Kamala Harris has done her genealogical research already. Just wondering.
We should probably try and investigate that, because it would be a good look for us.
Absolutely.
As Jamaicans.
Yes. But for those unfamiliar, they're thinking, oh, that's a big word, genealogical. What is that?
It really is finding your roots. Mm-hmm. Where do you come from? Which part of Jamaica you're from? Do you have African heritage? Are you it's finding your roots.
Yes.
And it's such an interesting...
It's like if you're doing a family tree, which is what children learn to do in school, like a family tree. Yes.
Absolutely. And it's such an interesting product because from that research, you can also know your medical history in terms of those diseases or infections or whatever it is that would run through your family. Hypertension, diabetes, those things.
Yeah, because you have all the information of those of us who are born in Jamaica, got married in Jamaica. When we die, you have the information as to how we died.
Absolutely. It's a big product. And we have quite a number of Jamaicans who make use of that product.
I see. So we can access birth, death, marriage certificates online wherever in the world we are.
Wherever in the world you are, and have it delivered to you as well.
Just like that. And of course, if you want to trace your lineage, where you're coming from, to go back to great, a few greats, because your records go a fair way back, right?
Back to 1600, yes.
What?
Absolutely.
That far back, right? So already those services are available. So members of the diaspora, if you want to access your information with respect to your birth certificate, your death certificate, your marriage certificate, if you want to do genealogical research to get a sense of the history of your family and your parents, grandparents, etc., those services you can do the necessary application online, right, Mr. Johnson?
Absolutely, you can.
Right. So what is new now? Let's get to what else you're adding to the suite of services available.
All right. So we've added 3 more products. And those products are very important for our customers in diaspora and also locally as well. Yes. Those products are late entry of name. Now, persons will wonder what that is. Mm-hmm. And of course, it is that some persons were registered without a name on their record. And for the simple reason, mommy or daddy did not come up with a name at the time of registration. And so it passed the time for the name to be entered on your record.
So sorry, I'm out of curiosity. I'm just wondering, so how would people have known whose record it is? A number?
The birth registration number, and there are other birth details on the record that would match it back to you. So, for example, your mother's information, your date of birth, your place of birth. Those are very pertinent information that, of course, would match back to you or an individual.
Oh. Gotcha. So late entry of name. Sorry, I digress, but go ahead. Late entry of name. That's where you were. Yes.
Yes. And so if you do not have a name on your record, or you may not have a surname on your record, that's the product for you. Mm-hmm. We also placed online what is called a status, and that's simply an addition of your father's particulars. Now, there are many Jamaicans who do not have their father's particulars on their record, and so this gives them the opportunity to do that. And further, it gives them the opportunity to do it from the convenience of their home, their workplace, wherever it is they are, without visiting the RGD.
I see.
And also placed online what is called a correction of error. And this is most common because a lot of times we find that Jamaicans, for one reason or another, an error would have been placed or present on their birth certificate or their marriage certificate or death certificate, and you simply need to have it corrected. But what's the significance of this, though?
Yes.
What's the significance of placing these products online? Outside of easier access to our customers, what we find is that our customers, especially overseas, they would have to pay significant courier fees to have those documents sent to the RGB. They no longer need to do that.
Oh, I see.
And so that money can be saved and used for other purposes, and especially in these challenging times. Now, they simply need to just log on to our website, click on the link that says apply now, and look and select the service that they wish to apply for. And all the instruction, information, all of those things are there.
This is so convenient, and it doesn't matter which time zone they're in. Can you believe that?
Very convenient. and so before, what they would have to do is visit our office, obtain the application, complete the application, which requires them to go in the presence of a justice of the peace to complete a statutory declaration, and have that information along with the supporting documents submitted to us physically here, yes, or mail it in from overseas.
Yeah.
They no longer need to do that. All of that can be done online.
This is great. So adding your father's name, doing a late entry of name, your name as a child, and also correction of error. All those services, listeners, have now been added to the Registrar General's Department, RGD's suite of services, which is making life a little sweeter. Hold it right there. Let's come back with more in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm. Join us in a series of discussions on the care and protection of our children. We also invite children to call in and voice their concerns. Kids Connect is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Every child deserves protection. That's a discussion program on the care and protection of our children. Kids Connect during both sides of the story at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday right here on Power 106 FM.
Dear Pastor, with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday here on Power 106 FM.
Got that gold refined till all success in nobleness and
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We do our best to bring you, to keep you abreast of developments here in Jamaica for those at home and in the diaspora here on both sides of the story. And here's an example. We've been speaking with a gentleman we haven't spoken with in a while, but it's good to talk with him again. Michael Johnson, the acting deputy CEO and director of operations at the Registrar General's Department, the RGD. He has been giving us an update on additional services that are now available online. So already you have been able, those in the diaspora, you have been able to apply for and check on birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, and also do have the RGD help you with a genealogical research to help you to trace your roots, your heritage, and to find out what are some of the traits within the family, and so on. So so in addition to that, you can now add your father's name on your birth certificate online. You can apply also for late entry of name. You can also apply to correct an error on your birth certificate. These are additional services that the Registrar General's Department, RGD, is rolling out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to repeat that information and any other essential information you need to get out before we wrap, Michael Johnson. But we have a call from one of our regular listeners she's very well known. She is the founder and CEO of the Angel Foundation UKJA, and she wants to get in a question with respect to the RGD. If you don't mind, one moment, please, Michael Johnson.
Sure.
Hello, Angel. Good afternoon. I know it's evening, minutes to 8 where you are in London now, but thank you for joining us. What's happening?
I have sent a registered letter to the RGB for an amendment to birth certificate. I had to get the Jamaica High Commissioner to sign the forms. I sent copy of the birth certificates for amendment. I also had to put pay the postal order to RGB since November. And it's now January, and I still haven't heard anything from them. The post office, we even do a special registered. My name is Angelia Christian. And I haven't heard anything, even to send me an email that they receive it. All my information is in the letter. The copy, the birth certificates, the form signed by the Jamaica High Commissioner here, with my email address and everything on the form, and I haven't heard anything. I mean, it's just too long.
Yes. What do you any idea, Michael Johnson, in general terms, what could possibly be causing the delay? I mean, I know you don't have everything in front of you to draw a conclusion, but in case you would have heard this kind of complaint before.
It's not unfamiliar to us. We have been having some difficulties since the borders were closed in the UK. We've been having some difficulties in terms of reaching our customers there. We are now, in fact, just this morning, we met on this topic because it is impacting our customers from that end.
Yes.
Those in the US would not have this challenge, but those in the UK, those are the customers who are feeling the pinch of the border restriction. And so we're seeking alternative ways of getting our certificates to our customers in that region. So we're going to ask if they can bear with us. In fact, those of our customers who have this challenge would ask them to reach out to us so that we can give them an update and possibly make alternative arrangements to have the certificates get to them. Some of our customers may just need, for example, an image of the certificate. Once we can verify that they're the owner, they're the applicant, because they just need the information. So we would invite our customers definitely to reach out to us. In fact, Dervan, I would love if this customer could give her information to your team.
Yeah, we can give you chapter and verse on Angelia Christian. We have all her details. So we're going to share her information with you off air, and then no doubt you will take it from there.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Angel. We'll share your information with Michael Johnson.
Okay, then. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Dervan.
All the best. You're welcome. Bye-bye. That's Angelia Christian in London calling through. We continue our conversation with Michael Johnson, Acting Deputy CEO and Director of Operations at the Registrar General's Department, the RGD. Well, since you broached the subject, I have to ask how, in general terms, to what extent has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your ability, your capacity to serve your customers at home and abroad?
Well, for those at home, we've had to be very dynamic and flexible in how we do business. And this is one of the reasons why we have more than ever decided to go digitally bold and to place more of our services and products online. It's the way forward. In fact, we found that a lot of our customers are very appreciative of us doing that. And you will see the comments on Twitter and on our social media pages of how they feel about our initiatives. Yeah. And so that encourages us to move in this direction. In fact, you and I can confirm and agree that that is the way forward by the government. Yes. For more of public bodies to place their services online. And so that is, we're working in tandem with that as well. And so we will just continue to improve our services and meet our customers where they need to be. So they can go about their business and spend less time doing it. And operate in an efficient way as possible, because these are challenging times, they're different times, and we have to change if we want to be successful.
Indeed. Well said. So once again, For the record, those who are just tuning in, this is both sides of the story on Power 106 FM, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad on this inauguration day. More news for you, listeners. And the news has to do with the Registrar General's Department increasing the suite of services that they offer to you in the diaspora, the things that you're able to do now, which you previously weren't able to. So, and then there are those you're able to do before, which you're still able to, like applying for birth, death, marriage certificates, and related matters. The genealogical research, as we said, which is just tracing your roots, finding out who you're related to and where you're coming from, whether there are Browns, Johnsons, Whites, Thomases in your family, etc., etc. The RGD now adding other services. You can apply to the process of adding your father's name, a late entry of name, correction of error. All of those you can now do online. Any particular information? I mean, each of these cases is different, but in general terms, what kind of information should the customer or potential RGD customer in the diaspora, what information should they have at hand in order to ensure that they're able to complete the process in one sitting, for example?
All right. So, for example, each of these products require you to complete a statutory declaration form. And all the forms are available on our website at www.rgd.gov.jm. And the instructions are there as well. Now, what they will need to have on hand is the information, the birth information or their birth information. They will need supporting documents. So, for example, if you're correcting an error, you must have the evidence to prove that an error occurred. So if the spelling of your mother's name is incorrect on your birth certificate, you will need her birth certificate to prove that this is the way her name is spelled.
Oh.
As simple as that. If you need to add a particular name on your record for a late entry of name, then you will need evidence to show that you have been using this name most of your life. And one way that you could do that is if you have children and your name is on their record. If you have a passport, if you have a school record that is available to you, anything showing the use of your name would help. And so those information would act as supporting our primary evidence to complete those products and services.
And what would I do? Would I need to do? Take a picture of those documents that I would need to submit as well, or find a way to upload those documents?
So I'm glad you asked, because it's pretty simple. Yeah. So when you visit our website and you select the service you want to use, it will give you the list of application forms or forms that you're required to complete. Once you've completed those forms, then you now start the process by filling out the application page, and that will take you to the next step, which is uploading the supporting documents that you would have completed. Once you've uploaded those documents, then you will now proceed to payment. It's a three-step process. It's very simple. It's as simple as ABC, actually. And we ensured that it was as simple as possible, because nobody wants to go online and become frustrated. None of us.
Yes.
So it's and the instructions are there. What I must point out to you too, and your listeners, in the event you need additional help, we've also recently launched an online chat. So our customer service representatives are there waiting to assist you. So if you need additional information, or you're not finding what you want, or you're a little bit confused, or you have a question, simply click our online chat facility, and our CSRs will be there to assist you.
That sounds very good. Give us that website address again, please, Michael Johnson.
So it's www.rgd.gov.jm. rgd.gov.jm.
That's easy to remember. We are looking forward to follow-ups. You continue to share with us new developments over time at the Registrar General's Department in terms of the services you offer here at home and abroad, and we'll be happy to help you to spread the word.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having us, Dervan, and thank you to your listeners and our customers, both locally and abroad, for hearing what we have to say today.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Same to you, man.
Good. Take care. That's Michael Johnson, not the athlete. Michael Johnson, the acting deputy CEO and director of operations at the Registrar General's Department, RGD, updating us on new services that members of the diaspora can now access from the Registrar General's Department's website, www.rgd.gov.jm. RGD, and they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, as well as Instagram.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Exercise. Go ahead. Work up a sweat and increase endorphins, the body's feel-good chemicals. This mental health tip was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in January 2021 may be encashed as of Thursday, January 7. All payments for the month of January may be collected at once at your nearest post office. Please note that pension order vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Are you doing enough to protect the health of your parents and grandparents? Our nation's elderly are the most vulnerable group of citizens to die from COVID-19. It is our duty as family members, caregivers, and community to protect their health and well-being. Let's do our part. Wear your mask around them. Wash and sanitize your hands when you are in their space. Provide comfort and emotional support during these very stressful times. Assist them with activities where there is a challenge or a need. Let us show our seniors that we truly care. For further information, contact the National Council for Senior Citizens toll-free 888-SENIORS or 876-736-4677 or call 876-906-9277 or visit www.mlss.gov.jm. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Dear Pastor, with the Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, here on Power 106 FM.
Let the show begin. Puppy Show.
Soak up the real Jamaican folklore in our brand new podcast, Kin Teeth and Hot Bun. Renowned storyteller Amina Blackwood Meeks brings life to the moments in true Jamaican style.
When you hear click, you cock your ears. And when you say crack, the story open.
Kin Teeth and Hot Bun, the Gleaner's brand new podcast series with storyteller Amina Blackwood Meeks. Available on SoundCloud, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and Deezer.
From sea to sky, shine sea. I thank you, Lord.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on the both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Standing by on this inauguration day to connect with Blaine Fitzgerald Stoddart, President and CEO of BFW Group, LLC, and Commissioner of the Governor's Commission on African American Affairs in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. He is also one of the team members of Young Caribbean Professional Network, among other things, quite an advocate as well. And let's welcome him now. I wonder if he's having lunch at the White House, or let's find out. Blaine Stoddart, how are you?
Mr. Malcolm, how are you, sir?
I am fine, thanks. It's good to talk with you.
Always a pleasure to talk to you and to have listeners in Jamaica and around the world tuned in, whether on their radio or live online through some kind of streaming network.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you. Today, put today's inauguration in context for us, please, Blaine Stoddart. What have you come away with after today's inauguration?
Again, I'm so excited. I can't even remember. I watched the speech that President Biden made, and I am so excited and giddy that I can't even remember anything. All I know, I can just tell you how I feel.
Yes.
I feel as an American and as a Jamaican that some sense of normalcy will be returning to the world, and I would like for them not to even call the name of the former president, because his name does not even deserve to be called in the hallways of power in Washington, D.C. I would call him number 45 or the it. I mean, the utter madness, the degeneration of the American way. The United States has become a laughing stock of the rest of the world under the former president's leadership, and Joe Biden now is saddled with number one, pulling us out of the morass of this economy, where over 50 million people are unemployed and living off the dole, taking charge of this pandemic, which has killed over 400,000 people. Mr. Malcolm, who would have thought that the United States, which is supposed to be the world leader, has managed a pandemic like a banana republic? Who would have thought that we're the ones, between the United States and Brazil and a couple of other countries that are managed by crazy people, would be spreading the virus the fastest around the world? It is unimaginable, the condition we now find ourselves in, because people that failed to come out and vote 4 years ago, and because we thought that our vote does not make a difference. The lesson out of this year, out of November 2020, is your vote matters. Every vote counts.
Yeah. And so, do you think the repair has started of America's image with what has happened, what ultimately happened at Capitol Hill, with and I'm not talking about the protest, but the fact that the process superseded the protests, and the bloody and deadly actions involved therein. Do you think, between what happened there in terms of the process, notwithstanding all the protests, the process went through to the point where here we are talking about the inauguration that ended, and there's a new president and vice president in place? Has the repair work started, or how much more work would need to be done? Is this good enough?
I am hoping that the repair can start today. You know, we have two major parties like Jamaica. You have PMP and JLP. In the United States, we have Democrats and Republicans. For some reason, over the past 4 years, we have gotten to a new low of the lowest. The Democrats and Republicans used to sit in the same mess hall and have lunch together. Ronald Reagan, you know, who these Republicans see as their hero, his best friend was a man named Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill was a Democratic Speaker of the House, a Democrat. Ronald Reagan was a conservative Republican. And when Tip O'Neill decided to resign from politics, the first person he called was Ronald Reagan. So people don't even know our history. We're getting all our information off of social media, and nobody will sit down and read a book. Ronald Reagan, who is a conservative Republican hero, his best friend was Tip O'Neill. People don't understand that history. And we're hoping that even though the senators and the Congress people can be on different sides of the aisle, that they can go out and have dinner at night, or they can go out and have a drink at night. For me, it would be drinking soda. But what I'm saying is we're not enemies. We're Americans. And the past 2 weeks have shown that the democracy is elastic enough that it can stretch, but it will not break.
Yes. But having said that, there are those who argue that, look, we know we would have seen at least 2 years out who was coming into the White House, or who had plans of getting into the White House. And people had all kinds of things to say then, and then subsequently it happened, and people have had a lot to say. But there's a sense that there are those who condemn the entire Republican Party and all its adherents culpable? Is everybody culpable, or is this a situation where one individual within a party of millions of other individuals would have gone against customs, traditions, just general decency, etc.?
Well, again, I mean, Donald Trump was a gangster. He should have never, his foot should have never set foot in that White House. He won against Hillary Clinton because the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, had a sham investigation against her, and Donald Trump is a master marketer. He's a master communicator and a master marketer.
Just a point of fact, but the matter with the email, however it was handled or mishandled, that is in fact a reality. Something happened there, or did not happen.
Again, you have to understand that this is a blot on American history. This man is not qualified. The former president was not qualified to be president of the United States. I want to go back to your former question. Is there repair to be done? Yes, there's repair to be done. Can it be repaired? Yes, it can be repaired. But it's like death. It takes time to sorrow, to go through the grieving process, and it takes time to heal. So Joe Biden will have to go back and put us back in the Paris Accord. He'll have to go back and do a nuclear deal with Iran. He'll have to go back and begin to talk, to have a real talk in the Middle East about peace. He'll have to go back and repair all the climate damage that we have done. I mean, our allies, Germany, France, except for England, we've turned our backs on them. And we've embraced Russia and North Korea. So all of that has to be reversed because our allies didn't know where we stood. We've made Cuba a terrorist state. How can Cuba be a terrorist state? When has Cuba ever terrorized us? If the United States had dealt with Cuba in 1963 and we have been dealing with them since, they would have been a democracy. If we do trade with Cuba, Cuba would quickly become a democracy. The reason why the leaders in Cuba still have power is because we've tried to starve their people.
Yeah. How then? How much is possible with the political arrangements, for want of a more sophisticated term, in terms of the Senate and the House of Representatives? There is still a need, notwithstanding how the seats are distributed. There is still a need for collaboration.
Absolutely. I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
The Democrats are up by 5 seats in the House.
Hold on. Don't move. Let's give you an opportunity to complete your thoughts on that matter in just a moment.
Heroes proved.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Dear Pastor, with the Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, here on Power 106 FM.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First Hand in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First Hand team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First Hand in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First Hand Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
America, make God thy gold refined.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Before we forget, we didn't tell you at the start of the program the details of the combination we used to start today's program. We did begin this afternoon's program with the words of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "God grant that not only the love of liberty, but a thorough knowledge of the rights of man may pervade all the nations of the earth, so that a philosopher may set his foot anywhere on its surface and say, 'This is my country.'" And we paired that with America the Beautiful by Ray Charles. Our guest is Blaine Stoddart. He is, you may recall we interviewed him some months ago in reference to the work of the Young Caribbean Professional Network. He does a lot of work with that organization. But as we indicated in the earlier introduction, he's the president and CEO of BFW Group, LLC, and the commissioner of the Governor's Commission on African American Affairs in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And he has been sharing his perspective on this inauguration day in the USA. You are about to explain the distribution of power, as you understand it.
And so the Democrats are up by 5 seats in the House, approximately 5 seats. There's still some seats to be decided. They're still counting and recounting. The Senate is going to be 50-50, Democrat, Republican, and Vice President Harris will be the tiebreaker. And so there's going to be a power sharing agreement in the Senate. So that's going to be very delicate. It would seem as if Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate leader, has found his voice now that Trump is out of power, now that Mr. Trump is out of power, And so, it would seem as if truth and sanity may be coming back. I don't know. I cannot predict. I would assume that with President President Biden's bipartisan alliances that he has had over the years, because he was a senator for over 30 years, that he'll be able to use some of that to cajole some Republican votes and to get the liberal Democrats to support some of his policies, which tend to be moderate. And that's what we need right now. We need to govern from the middle. We need to govern so that black people can get something, white people can get something, and everybody in between can get something, so that the country can move forward. We are too divided. We're too divided and racialist, if that's a word, in the way we view politics and in the way we view leadership. And I want to lay the blame for that, the blame for the division and the open wounds in our country. I want to blame that directly on the former president.
Well, some people might say that's quite opportunistic, considering that America has been a divided nation for a very long time. It's just that they argue that it's just that Donald Trump has, based on his actions or inactions, has served to bring to the fore that which had been simmering for some time.
My response to you will be the same. We cannot have a president jumping off the cliff to the left, okay, which is overtaxing businesses, moving towards a communist socialist agenda, and we cannot have a president jumping off the cliff to the right, which is an autocratic, religious, right wing, pro business, pay no taxes. Make the poor pay taxes and the rich, worth more than $4 billion, pay $750 a year in taxes. I spend $750 a month taking clients out to get business. And so for somebody who's worth $4 billion or making billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and paying $750 in taxes, those are the things that really divide our country, when there's no sense of fairness, when there's no sense of law abiding among the elite. And let me just say this, America is the land of opportunity, and I want to be successful, and everybody wants to be successful. But we must develop a system, an ecosystem for that to happen. And if the rich don't pay any taxes and the poor are paying 30%, that is not a progressive tax system. If you make more, you should pay more in taxes. If you make less, you should pay little or none, depending on what you make. That's a progressive democratic system, and that is what we need.
And then, just to go back to the point of the people and where they are, there are some who argue that, look, yes, President Trump is out of the White House. There's a new president now. But the people, the 74 million people who voted for Donald Trump, are still very much present in the United States of America. How does Joe Biden, and I think I know where you're going to go, but I wonder if you could help us with some practical ways in which you think Joe Biden could achieve what is yet to be achieved in America, a level of harmony that supersedes any animosity, whether temporary or otherwise.
I think Joe Biden will have to work with both sides. He'll have to work with the liberals and the conservatives. He'll have to work with black and white and all the other ethnic groups in between. I think one of the places we can start is the church. The Christian church, which is a representative of Jesus Christ, who worked and lived for the people, has gone off the deep end with their conservatism. And so Joe Biden will have to, I would start with political leaders, and I would start with church leaders. If I were Joe Biden, and if he called on me, I hope he calls on me for some advice. That's my free advice. I hope somebody who is close to Joe Biden is listening to this call, but call me. I can help. I would start with the church. The churches who are the moral standard bearers endorsed a pedophile, a racist, this man, a liar, a philanderer. I mean, there isn't any sin that I can think of. The 7 deadly sins: gluttony, greed, lust. I mean, this man represented all of those. And the church, the Christian church, which represents at least half or a majority of those 74 million followers of Donald Trump, endorsed him. Instead of staying silent or taking a position that, Mr. President, you should not do or say the things that you say, like calling people racist names, like saying that countries like Jamaica are S-hole countries.
Yes.
Nobody said anything to him. So basically, those 74 million people have empowered a man who is almost demonic. And so now Joe Biden is going to have to go back to those same people and have a discussion. Start with a biblical discussion. Since you're in the church with your Bible in your hand, let's have a biblical discussion about loving your neighbor as yourself, which is the greatest commandment with promise.
Yeah. So now, thank you very much for that. This day, we heard one of the TV stations in America did a compendium of statements, speeches by Joe Biden, and he seemed to have indicated a number of things that would be done, as he would say, from day one. Today is day one. How much are you aware of at this stage that has been done by Joe Biden, having declared on so many occasions all the things that would have been done from day one today?
Well, again, as far as I know, and I've been on TV and radio so much today, or talking to friends, been so elated, I'm giddy. Joe Biden is supposed to reverse at least 17 executive orders today, day one. One of them is rejoining the Paris climate change agreement. Another of them is to stop the construction of the wall. Another of them is to stop separating families at the border. And some of these are going to take time, but I know he's due to sign some executive orders on day one. I do not have a list of those orders, but if you want to call me tomorrow or later on this week, I can have a list for you. But Joe Biden, it's just a different vibe, a different tenor, a different tone. And Joe Biden is going to listen to conservatives. He's going to listen to liberals. He's going to listen to disenfranchised white people. He's going to listen to disenfranchised black people, and he's going to try to govern. I'm hoping that he governs in a centered way. That doesn't mean that he's not going to do some conservative things. That doesn't mean he's not going to do some liberal things. Like, for example, he's putting student loans and evictions on hold. And I know he's going to do that within the next 48 hours so that people can't lose their home because of the pandemic and they haven't been able to work, and students, don't have to pay back their loans because they don't have jobs. So there's certain things that he's going to do. Those things are still short term. He needs to rebuild the economy. Well, first of all, he needs to get the pandemic under control. He's going to have a second round of $1.9 trillion for a third round of economic stimulus, get the pandemic under control, and then get our economy back on track.
And how has, give us a sense of your neck of the woods in a manner of speaking, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What's the mood? What's the feeling? What's the hope?
Again, we feel that Philadelphia in the 5-county region, that's Philadelphia County, Bucks County, Chester County, Montgomery County, and Delaware County, this 5-county region gave Joe Biden the 20 electoral votes he needed to go over the top. So even if you took Georgia away from him, even Arizona, I'm not sure, but even if you took Georgia and Arizona away from him, he would still have won the presidency. We feel in Pennsylvania that we're the ones that put Joe Biden over the top.
I see.
So we are elated. We are giddy in eastern Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. We are giddy. People aren't working. People are just elated, so happy. Many of us thought about moving back to Jamaica or moving to Canada if this man had won again. I don't know what would happen to us if this man is really evil. And when I've been to the White House and I could feel his presence, yes, I was invited to the White House because they didn't have any blacks in working down there, and I was invited, just to check things out. I spent the day with Amarosa, who was his special assistant, and again, you could feel the evil on that campus, and hopefully the evil on that campus has been eradicated, and now we can breathe again across all 50 states.
Let's see. We'll be watching. Blaine Stoddart, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us here on both sides of the story. We'll definitely be talking again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Blaine Stoddart, he is very involved in the affairs in Philadelphia, public affairs in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and elsewhere in the States. He's president and CEO of BFW Group, LLC, and the commissioner of the Governor's Commission on African American Affairs in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's also actively involved in the work of Young Caribbean Professional Network. More in a moment.
Who more than self? Well, country loved.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:30.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and One Spot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Enjoy a 30% discount on our 6-month subscription plan and receive the gift of Jamaica's most authentic television and radio channels. Yup, you heard us correctly. Enjoy a 30% discount when you purchase a 6-month subscription plan from One Spot Media. Simply log into onespotmedia.com, select the 6-month subscription plan, and click subscribe. Offer ends January 31, so don't hesitate. Subscribe now and let One Spot Media connect you
Dear
with
Pastor, with the Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, here on Power 106 FM.
But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's clear some of the messages. Michelle Malvo, blessings to you too. Thank you very much for tuning in. Karit Bedwood says, good evening, good afternoon, Karit Bedwood, I beg your pardon. Karit Bedwood says, a historic day. Trump was very dangerous and calculated. He knew exactly what he was doing, whipping up hatred. Thanks for your message, Karit Bedwood. Norman Hines, good afternoon to you too. Good afternoon, Connie Scarlett Notice in Florida. Hortense Edwards, somewhere in Manchester. Good afternoon to you as well. And let's see. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England is also online. Inez Campbell Brown, welcome. What is Hortense saying here? Really, Dervan Malcolm, you think is God inaugurated today? Everything can and will not be done today. SMH. And I think we replied to Hortense to tell her that these are not my words. These are the words of Joe Biden. He had a long list of things which he said would start on day one, which is today. And there are decisions that have been taken. We're going to follow up to see what of all the things that he said would start as of day one. Right. That's how it is, Hortense Edwards. The accountability clock started ticking as soon as Mr. Biden took the oath of office. That's the way it is. Faye Weller, good afternoon. Thank you very much. Blessed love to you too. Thank you for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Let's look at some of the text messages and WhatsApp messages that have been coming in here on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. Where do we start? Quite a few messages. Let's do this. Let's go to... let's go... well, we have to clear a couple of the stock messages that people send out every morning in their network. So we're clearing those. Lloyd in Philadelphia says, good day, Mr. Dervan. Good day, Jamaica. Blessed love to everyone, Mr. Dervan. Now in County Line Drive, Cromwell, Connecticut, waiting on my load. I think that might have been from yesterday. Here's one that came in today. Robert Bob Ritchie sharing with us footage of something in the water somewhere in Jamaica. Not sure what that is. But we perhaps in our spare time can check that out. Thank you, Robert Bob Ritchie, for sharing. Michael in Florida says, good day, teacher, to you and the Power 106 family. Keep up your good work. God's blessings, I wish you. Keep safe. Thank you, Michael from Belle Plaine, Clarendon, now in Florida. Somebody's recording a voice note, which we'll have to listen off air to determine its airworthiness. Errol in Monique, St. Anne says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. Why is management of Power 106 so pig-headed? Can't they take off the stupid advisory running nearly 3 months now? Errol, sorry you feel that way about the Dear Pastor promo that has been running. Have you sought audience with management? Have you written? Have you called? That's what we would humbly suggest, that you register your concern, complaint with the management of Power 106 FM. That's what we would suggest. Thanks for your message. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine is listening as usual. Welcome, Ricardo. Errol in Spanish Town says, hi, Dervan. Good day. America is back. I am just happy I live to see a day like today. Gone are hatred, lying, and everything that's bad. You name it. America and the world can breathe again. Good riddance, says Errol in Spanish Town. Thank you for your message, Errol in Spanish Town. All the best to you. I was reading the Washington Post. The Washington Post dated the 13th of January, 2021. And in it, we are told that in 1,000, and this is as at the 13th of January, in 1,455 days, President Trump made 30,529 false or misleading claims. They must have been paying some serious attention there. Yeah, thank you for that. That's Washington Post. Yeah, well, I was just sharing what I was reading. And Miss Olive is calling through on WhatsApp. Let's hope the quality is not too unnerving for Chuck Ray, who asks why we keep accepting calls on WhatsApp if the quality is so poor. Let's hope we have good quality from Miss Olive. Miss Olive, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. So far, I'm hearing you clearly. I don't know about you, but I'm hearing you clearly.
Clear enough. Let's hope it stays that way.
I won't be long. I don't stay long. I just say my piece and take off. But, Dervan, why you won't use your right hand?
What?
Why you won't use your right hand?
My what?
Why won't you use your right hand?
That's what I do every day.
I woke up on you this morning on your yesterday program, and I saw you writing with your left hand.
No, man, it's you apparently maybe because you're not a technical person, you don't understand what it's a flip of the camera. It's the yes, so you're seeing it the other way.
I thought you were left-handed.
No, you're not the first to think so.
I am left-handed, but I don't write with my left hand. I'm big word, ambidextrous.
I am familiar with that word. Yes.
I am big word.
So why didn't you think? Why didn't you think I was ambidextrous then? If you are ambidextrous, because you think I don't understand you. Why you had to jump to the conclusion about left-handed? You think it's you alone can be ambidextrous?
I mean, Dervan, like fast video.
Yeah. I can't write with my left hand at all. Not even my name can I sign with my left hand. So,
no, I don't write too. I can write, but it's very slowly and it don't look too pretty. But if it's numbers, I can do numbers with my right hand, with my left hand, but not to write. Anyway, I'm watching. I've been on MSNBC from morning.
Yeah, we know you're a news junkie. Yes.
I am so proud of this man and this woman who is trying to bring America back to what it is supposed to be. The speech he gave was so good. So good. So I am only hoping and praying that these other people who was trying to tear down the country will get some sense. And you see Trump gone and doing people, so much of them get locked up, and him gone left them and them one leave them for fight them one battle. Him jumping and plane and gone about him business. And I do business with them now. So who is going to pay them lawyer fee and all of that? Trump? I am so glad he's out of there, Dervan, even though I am living in Jamaica, but he was turning the world upside down. And thank God these people, I hope that they will get the support that they need to bring America to what it is supposed to be. Not what it was, because it did stay a bad long time, but what it is supposed to be. United States. Not just in name, but in name and nature.
Indeed.
All right?
Yes. Thank you, Miss Olive.
Tell me something. Why this man take on Raskava with him foolishness? Why don't leave Raskava alone? Yeah. Raskava is a Rasta man. Him doing the different words that he uses. Earth strong and all them things there. Nothing is wrong with it. Take out the important things out of what the man is saying and leave the language that he means, because he is Rasta man. Leave him alone.
I'm sure he would be happy to hear you defending him in the way you are right now.
You know me for defend Raskava.
Yes.
All right, Dervan. Have a blessed one.
All right. You too. Take care. Thanks for the call. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Again, we're seeing voice notes, but we have to listen to them off air. Perhaps in the break coming up, we will be able to listen to your voice notes. Sorry about that. And then Yeah, let's use this break. We have a minute to the break. Good afternoon to those of you who are just joining us. Hello to those who have been with us for some time now. We appreciate your listenership and support and trust that you will continue to make it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. What's on your mind? The lines are always open to you. 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I was here talking about the gentleman who talk about the bird paper.
Yes, Michael Johnson of the Registrar General's Department, RGD.
Yes, that's correct. But the problem is, my wife look about his paper in 2000, and at the same time, she went to Carousel in 2000, and at the same time, after she come back at bird paper last, and she are trying to get the bird paper over 3 years now, and up till now she can't get it. When she checked.
Right. Sorry, hold the line, hold the story, please. Let's hear some more after the break.
And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing something like this. Listen here.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
You see, when I thirsty, I reach for top shelf alkaline spring water. Refreshing, smooth, hydrating.
Top Shelf Alkaline Spring Water for superior taste and energy. Its naturally alkaline pH 8 is higher than all other imported bottled water. With its antiviral detoxifying properties, it strengthens the immune system and supports skin health.
So when you want spring water, drink up and live up with Jamaica's first award-winning top shelf alkaline spring water. Available at Lee's Food Fair and Family Pride Supermarket.
Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Stay inside and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Don't run to the door, we are any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, up or gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
The proceeding was brought to you by OTPEM.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First San in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First San team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First San in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First San Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas on Power 106 FM is now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday. 1 hour of solid advice, great interaction, and a belly full of laughs. That's Dear Pastor, now 1 power-packed hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, here on Power 106 FM.
A minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned that good. Yes, he did. Heavy brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had somebody to help me sing this. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he done shed his grace on thee. You ought to love it for it, because he crowned that good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876 922 4112, 876 922 4113, 876 922 4114, and 876 922 4115. Please continue with the story.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Well, the problem, when she go by the birth pay, they say she must pay $250 for search. She paid $250. 6 months after that, she go back down there. She went out there, so they didn't find it. She would go by Port Anthony. They say she must pay $3,000 for search again. And at the same time, she paid that $3,000 for search. And up till now, them so they can't really find that birth paper. And she, at the same time, she leave and she go came at Carousel in 2000. So yes, mostly a yes paper down the Ferrara.
Oh. Well, I tell you what. Let's get your name and number off air, and we're going to WhatsApp your contact details to Michael Johnson of the Registrar General's Department, RGD.
Yeah.
And so you can listen out for a call either directly from him or from somebody else at the RGD.
Yeah, because what they are telling her, they are telling her that she has to pay a $15,000 for register all over again, late entry.
Oh. Well, whatever your concerns, whether you're going to call on behalf of your wife or she will call, whether you decide to take the call yourself or pass it on to her, you can explain everything to whoever calls you. But we're definitely going to take your name and number off air and send it to Mr. Johnson. I just spoke with him in the commercial break, so he's expecting to get your information as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Hold the line, please. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. And taking your calls on 876 922 4112-5, 876 922 4112-5, the text line.
That one there's me too.
Same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
And how are you today?
I am giving thanks for life, and you?
Yes, I'm good. From long time I've been calling, and I couldn't get you again from that time until now.
Well, we're happy you're back with us. Welcome.
Yes, I would like to send condolences to Lorraine Brown, who lost her son, and she have a rough time to get through.
Which Lorraine Brown is that? From where?
My niece.
From where?
From Lloyd's, Trinidad, Somerset, all over.
Oh, not in St. Anne?
No.
Oh, so I'm thinking of a different Lorraine Brown. Oh, well, we're sorry. Oh, we're so sorry to hear.
It was in the Gleaner. It was in the Star. Her son met in accident, went and died, and went to the funeral home, and they couldn't find him. So they couldn't find him because he was rot and all sort of statements.
Oh, I think I saw that story.
Thank God.
So you said she is your niece?
Niece, yes.
Oh.
Thank God she got the body yesterday.
Oh.
And everything sorted out.
Yes.
Nothing is wrong with the body. So they will be burying.
To God be the glory.
So I send my condolences to the family.
Yes, the circumstances notwithstanding, we're comforted at least by the fact that the matter has been sorted out, because it really was.
It really was a rough ride.
Yes.
Really wasn't nice at all. But thank God.
Yes.
And they felt much better in spite of all that happened.
Good, good. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for that update because I was wondering how it would have worked out. I don't know if the TV station would do the follow up, but hopefully they do the follow up so that
Yeah,
everybody knows.
it was on CVM too, you know.
Oh, I
It
see.
was on CVM, it was in the Star, it was in the Gleaner, and thank God,
Problem solved.
problem
As
solved.
tragic as it still is.
He
Yes.
will be buried next month.
All right. Well, we wish you and your family well, and we'll do our best to keep you in our thoughts and prayers.
Yes, I'm very grateful.
Yes.
And thank God I was able to get you today.
We're happy you got through. Thank you so much for the call.
You have a blessed day.
You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com. We started listening to one of the two voice notes, a little on the longish side. So we are not through listening yet. So we're going to need another commercial break to listen to the rest of the first of the two voice notes and then the second of the two. Right? So the person who sent us those voice notes, we have to listen to them from start to finish. And we're going to now send the caller whose wife had an issue with her birth certificate. We thank you for sending us the details. We're going to send the information right now to Michael Johnson of the Registrar General's Department. The above info relates to the husband who called in relation to his wife's birth certificate. There we go. Message sent. Right. So that's dealt with. Thank you very much, caller, and thank you, Davin, for making sure we get that information as well. Yeah, because we're hoping to do more of this and just do it quickly. Once we get this kind of information, just send it to the relevant entity, individual, institution, organization. Because once you miss a day, goodness, yeah. And Mr. Johnson replies to say he'll reach out to them both. So that's both Angelia Christian in London and also the wife of the gentleman who called a short while ago. Yes. Rose McIntosh is having fun with Olive in Portmore, saying Miss Olive, not Oliver, as in the great Oliver Samuels. Well, maybe she finds Miss Olive to be quite hilarious. Hence what she said just now. Thank you very much for the message. Right, we did Hortense in where's Hortense again? Mandeville, Manchester was saying something about, we were making the point in the interview with Blaine Stoddard that President Joe Biden had given an indication as to some of the matters he would use his office to deal with from day one, which is today. And so he's already signing. Let's see. There's a picture of him signing. Let's see the story here. Let's see if there's a story in terms of what he's signing. I'm not seeing that just now. Who decided to run that? Yeah, I'm still trying to get to the point of the story to see which executive action he would have taken once he took his seat in the Oval Office today. Let me see this. What's this? Readying. Oh, here we go. He, a day after honoring the COVID-19 victims who have died Biden is immediately turning his focus to overhauling the Trump administration's politicized response to the pandemic into a functional operation that can accelerate the delivery of vaccines to Americans and right the flagging U.S. economy. He wants to show that he will move swiftly to undo Trump's legacy, with aides readying about a dozen executive actions that Biden can take as soon as he is sworn into office, that include rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement and ending Trump's ban on travel from predominantly Muslim countries. The president plans to extend the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures for families affected by COVID-19 and to sign an order requiring masks on federal property and during interstate travel. Right. So we have another interview coming up in half an hour's time, during which we will explore some of these executive actions.
Country love.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Under the law. Know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. Under the law.
Brought to you today by the Firearm Licensing Authority, regulating with purpose, safety, and responsibility.
The Firearm Licensing Authority wishes to remind all licensed firearm holders that full compliance with the Firearms Act and adherence to the policies and the procedures of the FLA are key in the continuance of being a licensed firearm holder. The safe use and handling of a firearm, firearm safety, accountability, and the annual renewal of the firearm license should be a part of a natural routine for the license holder. FLA, regulating with purpose, safety, and responsibility.
I don't know how something like that could happen to me. You are so meticulous about everything. I don't see how you could leave your gun in the ladies' restroom. Don't talk so loud, Patrice, for I am going out of my mind. How it really happened? I was digging around in my handbag for the business card of a gentleman I had an appointment with. I had the phone in one hand and the gun was getting in the way. So without even thinking, I took it out and I rested it on the back of the toilet. Wrong move. That was the mistake I made. For I was on the phone with the man and I walked out and left the gun same place. So when did you discover the gun was missing? When I got to my car. As I was about to drive off, I remembered the gun and I sprinted back inside. You should have seen me. By that time, somebody gone with it. I asked the security guard at the front desk if anybody brought anything to him. Him said no. What am I going to do now? You are in deep trouble, Nadia. And your friend Patrice can't help you resolve this one.
You definitely are in trouble, Nadia. Any person who, being the holder of any license, certificate, or permit for a firearm, or being lawfully in possession of a firearm by virtue of subsection 2 of section 20 of the Firearms Act, loses the firearm through negligence on his part, shall be guilty of an offense, and on summary conviction thereof before a resident magistrate, shall be liable to a fine not exceeding $100,000, or to imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 12 months. That's how it is under the law.
Brought to you today by the Firearm Licensing Authority, regulating with purpose, safety, and responsibility.
Join us Wednesdays at 6:45 and 8:45 a.m. and at 4 and 9:25 p.m. on Power 106 FM for Under the Law.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Join Jason Downer, Dawit Jeffrey, and Saku Hunter every second and fourth Thursday at 8 p.m. live and exclusively on Power 106 FM for Magaba's Raising Boys and the Journey to Manhood. Do you have a son? Are you the guardian for boys? Do you teach or work with boys? What are some of the challenges you face? Are you searching for answers? Are you concerned about the state of our nation boys and males in general? Raising boys, teaching boys, preparing boys. Magava Raising Boys and the Journey to Manhood. Join us.
Well, country love and mercy more than life.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:05. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:05. Hiện tại, thời gian là 4:05. 5 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Whatever's on your mind, the lines are open, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And just before we perhaps listen to a voice note or two on WhatsApp, let's take a bit of President Joe Biden's speech today.
Chief Justice Roberts, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, and my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is America's day. This is democracy's day, a day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious, democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation, we come together as one nation, under God, indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power as we have for more than 2 centuries. As we look ahead in our uniquely American way, restless, bold, optimistic, and set our sights on the nation we know we can be and we must be. I thank my predecessors of both parties for their presence here today. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I know the resilience of our Constitution and the strength of our nation, as does President Carter, who I spoke with last night, who cannot be with us today, but whom we salute for his lifetime in service. I've just taken the sacred oath each of those patriots have taken. The oath first sworn by George Washington. But the American story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation. We're good people. And over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and in war, we've come so far, but we still have far to go. We'll press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and significant possibilities. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain. Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. Once in a century virus that silently stalks the country. It's taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for survival comes from the planet itself. A cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now, a rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism that we must confront and we will defeat. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity. In another January, on New Year's Day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. When he put pen to paper, the president said, and I quote, "If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it." My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. Uniting to fight the foes we face: anger, resentment and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work and rebuild the middle class and make healthcare secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, and we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy these days. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real. But I also know they are not new. Our history has been a constant struggle between the American ideal that we're all created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart. The battle is perennial, and victory is never assured. Through Civil War, the Great Depression, World War, 9/11, through struggle, sacrifice, and setbacks, our better angels have always prevailed. In each of these moments, enough of us have come together to carry all of us forward. And we can do that now. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed in America when we've acted together. And so today, at this time, in this place, let's start afresh. All of us. Let's begin to listen to one another again. Hear one another. See one another. Show respect to one another. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated. And
We'll get back to President Joe Biden's speech in a moment. We know the implications that developments in America will always have for us here in Jamaica and elsewhere in the world. And just wanted to give those of you an opportunity, those of you who missed it or who haven't been able to follow, an opportunity to hear some of the pronouncements so that we know what to take our cue from, so to speak. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm. Join us in a series of discussions on the care and protection of our children. We also invite children to call in and voice their concerns. Kids Connect is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Every child deserves protection. That's a discussion program on the care and protection of our children. Kids Connect during both sides of the story at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday right here on Power 106 FM.
The following is a program advisory from Power 106 FM. Please be advised that the program Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas has been reduced to 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, starting Monday, November 2. That is Dear Pastor, now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Power 106 FM apologizes for any inconvenience this program change may cause. The proceeding was a program advisory from Power 106 FM.
America, make God thy gold refined, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesty.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:18. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:18. 现在几点了？4点18分. 18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. let's share a bit more of the newly minted President of the United States speech. And of course, we're talking about President Joe Biden. Let's give you a bit more of that. And then on Diaspora Connect, Diaspora Check-in, we will be speaking with Ambassador Curtis Ward. Let's hear Joe Biden some more.
And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured. My fellow Americans, we have to be different than this. America has to be better than this. And I believe America is so much better than this. Just look around. Here we stand in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, as was mentioned earlier, completed amid the Civil War, when the Union itself was literally hanging in the balance. Yet we endured. We prevailed. Here we stand, looking out on the great mall where Dr. King spoke. Here we stand, where 108 years ago, at another inaugural, thousands of protesters tried to block brave women marching for the right to vote. And today, we mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. Here we stand, across the Potomac from Arlington Cemetery, where heroes who gave the last full measure of devotion rest in eternal peace. And here we stand, just days after a riotous mob thought they could use violence to silence the will of the people, to stop the work of our democracy, to drive us from this sacred ground. It did not happen. It will never happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Not ever. To all those who supported our campaign, I'm humbled by the faith you place in us. To all those who did not support us, let me say this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. If you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's America. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps this nation's greatest strength. Yet hear me clearly. Disagreement must not lead to disunion. And I pledge this to you. I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans. And I promise you, I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did. Many centuries ago, St. Augustine, a saint of my church, wrote that a people was a multitude defined by the common objects of their love. Defined by the common objects of their love. What are the common objects we as Americans love that define us as Americans? I think we know. Opportunity, security, liberty, dignity, respect, honor, and yes, the truth. Recent weeks and months have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, and especially as leaders. Leaders who have pledged to honor our Constitution and protect our nation, to defend the truth and defeat the lies. Look, I understand that many of my fellow Americans view the future with fear and trepidation. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering, can I keep my health care? Can I pay my mortgage? Thinking about their families, about what comes next. I promise you, I get it. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources you do. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, or rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes. Because here's the thing about life. There's no accounting for what fate will deal you. Some days, when you need a hand. There are other days when we're called to lend a hand. That's how it has to be. It's what we do for one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, more ready for the future. And we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation. And I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. Together. Look, folks, all my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here, we all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again. Not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. And we'll lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. We'll be a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Look, you all know we've been through so much in this nation. And my first act as president, I'd like to ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer. Remember all those who we lost in this past year to the pandemic. Those 400,000 fellow Americans, moms, dads, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. We'll honor them by becoming the people and the nation we know we can and should be. So I ask you, let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country.
Listening there to newly minted President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, delivering his inauguration speech. It all happened at the National Mall, more precisely, right within the precincts of the Capitol, where we know what happened a few weeks ago, the insurrection. We're going to get a perspective from Ambassador Curtis Ward when we come back from this commercial break on this week's edition of Diaspora Check-In. In the meantime, to take us to the break, we'll check in with a couple of your messages. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, a couple days ago, I heard you make a statement attributed to one Dennis Brooks, a spokesman for the JCF, Based on the statement, Mr. Malcolm, am I to understand that there are certain places at the wharf that the police and other enforcers are not allowed to go? Not that they're not allowed to go, but they don't have personnel in those places. If that's the case, it's no wonder Jamaica is being overrun with guns. How can you have a place as sensitive to the security of the nation as the wharf that prohibits? Again, they're not prohibited. It's just that it's not factored in. They're not. There's a structure that they're currently working with. You can always debate whether that structure makes sense or they should change that structure, but it's not that they are prohibited. Goes on to say, Mr. Malcolm, I hope I misunderstood the statement, but if it is as I thought I heard it, I think that's terrible, and things will get worse in Jamaica as far as illegal guns and ammunition coming into the country are concerned. Thank you for your message. There's more after the break.
Thank you, Lord.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Kira, I'm very worried about Daddy, you know.
Why?
Because he drinks and drives so fast.
And I know. I'm worried about him too. Let's talk to him when he comes into the car.
Okay, girls, ready to go.
Daddy, you know we love you, right?
I should hope so.
But Chinel and I are worried about the way you drive.
Well, as of now, all of that will change. I really love you both and I want to live to see you grow.
Thank you, Daddy.
Road safety begins with you.
A message from the Road Safety Unit, Ministry of Transport and the Mine.
The older I get.
Did you check on mommy, daddy, or even grandpa or grandma today? A reminder from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and the National Council for Senior Citizens to care for our elderly persons, not only for today, but every day.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm. Join us in a series of discussions on the care and protection of our children. We also invite children to call in and voice their concerns. Kids Connect is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Every child deserves protection. That's a discussion program on the care and protection of our children. Kids Connect during both sides of the story at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday right here on Power 106 FM.
Heroes proved in liberating strife.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 28. CNC, TDN le, Wu Dien, Cha Ar Shur Ba Fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to check in on this week's edition of Diaspora Check-In here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Our guest chairs the Caribbean Research and Policy Center in Washington, D.C. He's an adjunct professor, Homeland Security graduate program at University of D.C. He's Jamaica's former ambassador to the United Nations. He also served on the United Nations Security Council. And for the past 4 years and counting, he has been publishing online The Ward Post. That's his blog, The Ward Post. And it's very current, very up to date. In fact, as earlier on reading today's edition, I say today's, yes, I got it today, of the Ward Post. Ambassador Curtis Ward, you're not wasting any time at all. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. First up, your initial thoughts at the end of Inauguration Day for America's 46th president.
Well, it's not really the end of the day yet. But because, as a matter of fact, he plans to sign a few more executive orders later on today.
Right, and we want to
And
talk about those. But go ahead.
and certainly I'm looking forward to the concert tonight. So my day won't end until all this is over.
But I thought you
But
had enough with Lady Gaga singing the anthem. You want more?
No, look, let me tell you, today was a wonderful day
Yes.
in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
It's a day of relief. It's a day that we've been yearning for ever since January 2017. That nightmare, as I call it, would come to an end. Unfortunately, as we progressed over the past 4 years, and maybe I should use the word progress, there's not a word I can use here. As we went through the past 4 years, it seemed to have gotten worse and worse every day.
Mm-hmm.
And with the pandemic hitting us in 2020, and the mishandling of that pandemic and the crashing of the U.S. economy, millions of people losing their jobs, tens of thousands of small businesses close their doors, some of them permanently. And then to culminate at the beginning of this year with that insurrection, that attempted coup, that act of terrorism right here in the capital of the United States. I don't think it can possibly get any worse. You know, when the election was declared in November, there was rejoicing in the streets of cities across the United States, an outpouring of joy, because people were so pent up with the stresses, with the Trump administration had so many people on edge that election signaled to us that there was relief coming. And then we saw in the post-election period leading up to today that Donald Trump continued to lie and lie and lie about the election. When his own high official in the Department of Homeland Security, who was responsible for ensuring the cyber security of the election, when that gentleman said it was the safest and most fair election, no form of interference that we have ever had, he lost his job. You know, so today is like a deliverance for not just America, but for the entire global community. Because Trump's foreign policy has broken down every international norm, weakened international institutions, and created instability in many places.
Yeah.
So today is a great day.
And in your latest publication of the Ward Post, you end by saying failure is not an option. The stakes are too high for America and the international community. Some serious burdens being placed on the shoulders of Joe Biden and his administration. How doable are all these things? And you have a long list of executive actions and so on. How doable are all these things? Well, first of all, the actions. Are you aware of actions that have executive orders or actions in general that have already been taken? and plans to do more today. That's the first thing, because he kept saying from day one he's going to do this, from day one he's going to do that. So that's the first part of the question. And the next part would, of course, be how much is possible in the next 4 years?
Well, let me put it this way. He already started signing some of the executive orders. You know, the president has a private office at the Capitol building. And immediately following the swearing in, he went to that office and signed some of those orders. I know one of the orders he signed is to make all his appointees acting, because they have not yet been confirmed by the Senate, which is an indication that he's wasting no time for everybody to take out their office and get to work. Now, in terms of what is achievable, Donald Trump had made significant changes in a number of areas using executive orders. He has stretched the limit of the use of executive orders. But there's also a bright side to that, because it gives President Biden the opportunity to reverse those orders with his own executive order. And to give you some examples.
Please do.
The Muslim ban, for instance, was by executive order. A lot of EPA degradation were by executive order.
Sorry, EPA, that's...
environmental regulations and stuff. Some of them were by executive order.
Yes.
A number of issues related to immigrants and immigration were done by executive order. He also...
And you're including in that the deferred action against for childhood arrivals, DACA?
Yes, but that can also be continued by executive order pending legislation, which Biden promised to send to Congress today.
Oh.
The important thing one has to remember is that during this transition period, lots of people have been at work preparing all these legislation and stuff that he needs to get out immediately. And that's one of them. But, for instance, rejoining the WHO.
That's the World Health Organization. Yes.
Yes. Sorry about using these acronyms.
Sorry.
and rejoining the Paris Agreement on climate change. That is being done by executive order today. There are a number of other issues. For instance, like reuniting the over 600 immigrant children with their parents. He signed an executive order on that today. So all that people will begin to work on that.
So the work has started. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. He has also appointed, I don't want to call him a czar. They have a different name, like a coordinator for COVID-19.
Yes.
And he already has a task force, which he already established the task force. You see, that task force, he didn't need to be president to get it started. But all it is done by executive order.
Yes.
And they will have the official legal authority to do what they have to do by executive order. But there are huge pieces of legislation which he will need the U.S. Congress.
Which means politicians from both sides.
From both sides.
Yes.
Some of them can be done without the Republicans.
Okay.
But those that require spending of money, budget,
like the stimulus,
budgetary affairs, right? See, in the Senate, not in the House. In the House, it can be passed with a simple majority.
Yes.
In the Senate, they need what you call a supermajority, which is about 60 votes. So those will be a little bit different. But I think the appetite for that has grown tremendously.
Yeah.
One of the things he does not want to be distracted by is the trial of Trump
in the Senate.
In the Senate,
yes.
Right. But we've seen the Senate do regular business in the morning and then do trial in the evening. So, and this trial is not going to last as long as the first impeachment.
Would the former president have to be there?
No.
Oh.
But his lawyers would be.
Right.
And he would also have people from the Republican caucus in the House who would be part of his defense team.
All right, let's talk.
But the evidence is so clear.
Yes.
You know, that right since the impeachment bill has been passed, the people who are going to put the evidence forward have been gathering lots of videos and all kinds of evidence.
Tell us some more after the break, please. Listeners, our guest is Ambassador Curtis Ward, Jamaica's former ambassador to the United Nations and former member of the UN Security Council, publisher of the Ward Post, which you can read, the very latest. It's very up to date, the Ward Post. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
How do you want to start 2021? Do you want to start a business, create wealth, or build your brand? Then you must attend the Jamaica Stock Exchange's Investments and Capital Market Conference, January 26th through 28th. To learn how to do these and more, visit jamstockx.com to register or call JSC at 876-967-3271. Sponsored by Jeffries, NCB Capital Markets, TVJ, Pegasus Jamaica Observer, Oppenheimer, TNT Unit Trust Corporation, Cygnus, Phosphorus, CW Business, Beretta Investments, and Dollar Financial.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm. Join us in a series of discussions on the care and protection of our children. We also invite children to call in and voice their concerns. Kids Connect is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Every child deserves protection. That's a discussion program on the care and protection of our children. Kids Connect during both sides of the story at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday right here on Power 106 FM.
The following is a program advisory from Power 106 FM. Please be advised that the program Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas has been reduced to 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, starting Monday, November 2. That is Dear Pastor, now 1 hour, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Power 106 FM apologizes for any inconvenience this program change may cause. The proceeding was a program advisory from Power 106 FM.
For amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 5 menos 13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 13. 现在几点了？5点差13分. 13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? It's Inauguration Day in the USA, and good afternoon to you, to those of you who have joined us. I'm watching new President Joe Biden and VP Kamala Harris on TV. This is a great day in history, says Bijou in New York. I just heard on CNN that the White House has been deep cleaned. That's a relief, says Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester. Also, David Allen. I'm not sure what David Allen is referring to here. I don't know what you're talking about, David Allen. But thank you for your message. Travis the Gifted Hansen says, congratulations to President Biden and VP Harris on assuming office as 46th president in 49th VP and 49 VP respectively. And Ambassador Curtis Ward is still with us. He is Jamaica's former ambassador to the United Nations. And he also chairs the Caribbean Research and Policy Center. He's an adjunct professor, Homeland Security graduate program at the University of Washington, of DC. And he also publishes the Ward Post, which is in its fourth year. I'm not sure what happened. Ambassador Ward? Hello? I think maybe we need to reconnect. Let's reconnect with Ambassador Curtis Ward. Yeah, we're reconnecting, Ambassador Ward. Stand by. Stand by, Ambassador Ward. We're reconnecting. And let's go again. Thank you, Ambassador.
Yes, sir.
Right. So then, if you could just pick up on the point you were making as we took the break. I was asking whether, well, you had said the president obviously wouldn't need to be there in the former president wouldn't need to be there in the Senate for the impeachment trial.
That is correct.
Who is to say that won't just fizzle like the last one, from the standpoint that yes, the records will show he was impeached, but nothing comes out of it in the eyes of the public. Sorry.
Yes, there are a number of Republican senators who have signaled indication that they want to convict him. For one of the reasons why they wish to do that is following the conviction, then a simple majority can vote on the next clause of the impeachment, and that is to bar him from ever holding public office again. And several Republican senators would like to see him disappear in the sunset forever. They don't want to see him around in 2024 running for office.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch McConnell is one of them. You have people like Romney and Murkowski from Alaska. And there are some others. Even Susan Collins have spoken as if she's ready to convict him. So this is not the same as the last time, which was just about a year ago. Many of them had other interests where they wanted to keep Donald Trump on board. As you can recall, only Senator Romney voted to convict him. So I think it will be quite different this time.
Yeah.
Whether we get the 17 Republican senators that is needed is another story, but it won't be just one or two. I think you'll have a few Republicans voting to convict him.
Well, let's see how that unfolds. In the meantime, what's your outlook? What is your crystal ball saying? What's the barometer reading that you have going forward over the next 4 years as far as this new administration is concerned?
Let me put it this way. I wouldn't say 4 years. I would say in the course of the next 6 months. Because there are so many urgent matters that need to be dealt with that I think you're going to see every part of the Biden-Harris administration working to undo what Donald Trump has done and to advance America on the road to recovery from the pandemic, from the economic problems. And one of the major bills that we will see very soon is the infrastructure bill, which will spend lots of money to repair, replace lots of American bridges that are crumbling right now.
Which would create a lot of jobs as well.
Lots of jobs, and infrastructure is usually something that both sides of the aisle support.
True.
And it is needed now more than any other time for job creation, as well as there's deterioration. There are airports that need upgrading. There are many bridges and bridges in the constituents and in the states of many of the legislators on both sides of the aisle that need not only repairs, but some of them need replacement. So I think that is something that we will see. And all that will come in the first 6 months. The immigration reform is another. That it may take a few months in the Congress, but we will have immigration reform. Because something has to be done about regularizing the 11 plus million undocumented immigrants in the United States. And under President Biden's proposal, there will be a process that will take approximately 8 years from where they are now to
coming from 13. It's what, 13 years now? Where the system is. It wasn't. I thought I'd heard something.
No.
Okay.
No. Becoming a U.S. citizen, the shortest route is 3 years, actually.
Oh.
If the immigrant is married to an American citizen, it only takes 3 years from when they receive their green card to applying for citizenship.
I see.
If you are married to, if your sponsorship is other than citizen, it is 5 years after you receive your green card.
Yeah.
The one that takes, and you say 13, I think it takes about 20 years now.
Goodness.
Is siblings of American citizens.
Wow. Yes, I keep forgetting the other part of your professional career as an attorney at law and dealing with immigration matters as well.
Lots of it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you. Sorry, go ahead.
19 years. 19
Look at
years,
that.
Dervan.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We definitely need to talk again. We have to wrap. We're out of time. News is coming up. But thank you. We always enjoy your input. We appreciate your work, your service, which continues even as we speak. And we encourage our listeners at home and abroad to get their copy of the Ward Post, online. Just Google the Ward Post. And they'll be able to read your latest blog. Thank you so much, Ambassador Ward.
You're most welcome, Dervan, anytime.
All the best. Take care. Ambassador Curtis Ward, Jamaica's former ambassador to the United Nations and former member of the UN Security Council, attorney at law, and adjunct professor at UDC, University of DC, among other things. We thank him. And we thank our guests today. Thanks to our program assistant on duty, Davin Thomas, for his work behind the scenes. Thanks to you, our faithful listeners and viewers at home and abroad, for making it both sides of the story on this inauguration day. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. We leave you with the words of Benjamin Franklin and the music of Ray Charles. God grant that not only the love of liberty, but a thorough knowledge of the rights of man may pervade all the nations of the earth, so that a philosopher may set his foot anywhere on its surface and say, this is my country. Take care.
Yes, he did. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had somebody to help me sing this. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he done shed his face on thee. You ought to love it for it, because he crowned that good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, Lord. I thank you, Lord.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful.